You are listening to the IFH Podcast Network. For more amazing filmmaking and screenwriting podcasts, just go to ifhpodcastnetwork.com.
Welcome to the Successful Screenwriter Podcast, where we discuss anything and everything screenwriting. Here we interview successful screenwriters and filmmakers to find out just what it takes to make it in the industry. All right, welcome to the podcast. We have on a pair of awesome guests today. We have on friend of the show and consultant at WeFixYourScript.com. She's a screenwriter. She is an all-around amazing person, Marlene Sharp.
Thank you. Hi.
And we have on songwriter, musician, singer, and even a video producer, Saahil Bhargava. Thanks for being on with us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, it's really cool. I wanted to have you guys on because I know that you're doing the festival circuit right now. You've got an animated music video based on some of your work. And I thought it'd be fascinating to just kind of talk about the process of creating a music video, especially using animation. And I know this is something that Marlene specializes in as well. But before we dive into this, and Marlene knows I do this because I've already gotten her origin story, I like to get the origin story of our guests. So if you could just kind of give us a brief rundown of your journey into creating music and going into this music video.
Sure. So I actually started off as a singer. I started singing pretty much the second I realized that humans could sing as a very, very young kid. And that was where it took off for me in terms of wanting to hopefully, as a little kid, I kept wanting to do that as an adult for my job. Yeah. And eventually I started playing piano, lots of like classical and jazz, and also started playing guitar, jazz, rock, metal, pretty much everything. And so I've been playing all sorts of music in multiple different styles since I was a little kid. But, right after college, I started working on my voice and more musical theater stuff. And that's where it kind of clicked for me, where I realized that, I'm someone who loves writing. I love singing. I love songwriting. And I also love acting. I wanted to kind of find a way to take all of those elements and put them into my music together. And that's where my music really started to click for me. All of my songs that I write now are stories. Every single song is like its own short story, which is about a specific character, a specific mythology, specific, world that it's set in. And, for me, that allows me to showcase all of those things that I've worked on for my entire life, whether it's singing, writing, or acting. Yeah, I guess that gives you the whole spiel about what my music is.
That's awesome. Marlene, what kind of draws you to the project of working with Saahil on this?
Well, Saahil and I are already collaborators, or we started collaborating at the end of 2019 when I was hired at Rainshine Entertainment. So Saahil is an executive at Rainshine, and he also started a spin-off studio called Raijin Entertainment that has since been absorbed back into Rainshine. But the goal of Raijin was to adapt action-oriented IPs into animation. So if you think anime style or like action TV series, that type of thing, superhero fare. And so Big Rainshine, the umbrella company, does a lot of different things. But I came on board to help to really take a deep dive into the animation, both the grown-up stuff through Raijin and then also the kid-friendly stuff. So Saahil and I were collaborating on various animated projects, and I was not in the trenches on his recording his music, but when I saw the video, he was kind of working on that on his own and with a couple of collaborators in India. And then when I saw it, I thought, oh, this is perfect for film festivals because his aesthetic doesn't look like anything else that's out there, and it doesn't sound like anything else. So I came on board late in the process to help with the film festival strategy.
And it seems like Saahil has been paying off. It looks like you've got a nomination at the LA Shorts International Film Festival. So tell me about that. It looks like you're nominated as well as Paul McCartney and Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's so wild. I still haven't fully processed that because Paul McCartney and Yo-Yo Ma are absolute legends. It's such a big honor to be nominated alongside them. And it's been so exciting. They've been releasing more and more short films over the course of the month of July.
Yeah.
With the Kohima, the one that my music video coming out on the 18th for the music category, and I think on the 3rd for the animation category. And so it's been absolutely amazing getting to see how all of these, short films are being put together in this big festival. And
Yeah.
I very much am looking forward to seeing what happens. Fingers crossed I have the ultimate underdog victory. But even in the more likely case that that's not the case, I am, really hopeful that Kohima will continue to do well in other festivals, and
Yeah.
hopefully more of my videos and songs can live up to it.
Well, I think it's beautiful. I always root for the dark horse, so I'm pulling for you. I think it's absolutely amazing, and I can understand, I can appreciate how it hasn't sunk in yet, because you hit these levels in your life where you make these achievements, and you're just doing your thing. Like I'm a dude from Detroit that does my thing, and the achievements that I make, they never set in. But then people yell at me and they tell me to look at it, and so like you have to kind of take a step back. But then it's almost overwhelming. You just like, I just want to put my head down and create.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And I could see that in you, and you just seem like a really down to earth guy. And this is why it's important to be that kind of humble guy, because then you get to work with everybody. How did you guys kind of design the story around this music video?
Well, I guess the story for this specific one, Kohima, it's about a World War II battle that took place in the northeast of India in 1944, and it's
Okay.
the way I started on it was I was working on another project where I was researching a lot of big battles in history, and the Battle of Kohima was one that came up, and I realized that people don't talk about it nearly enough. It's this brutal, horrifying, hellish battle that took place in this very, very specific place in northeastern India. But it
Yeah.
had such a crucial impact on both India and World War II.
Wow.
And it was also just eye-catching. I mean, at one point they were having a full-on brawl across a tennis court where they were out of ammo and they were fighting hand to hand, throwing grenades at each other, like multiple grenades at once. It was just
Wow.
absolutely crazy. And so that was where the inspiration came from. But the key thing for me with the story was I wanted to focus on an individual soldier. I wanted to focus on one soldier's emotions, his
Yeah.
panic, his despair, his sheer desire to survive and go back home. I wasn't really telling the
Yeah.
story of the overall war. I was just focusing on that one moment. And
Humanizing it.
so, exactly. And so that was really what the story started as. It was the theme of what is it like for one soldier in the heat, in the heat of like a huge, crazy, awful battle. And from there, I started with the lyrics and went on to write the music. And then eventually, of course, once the full song was recorded, we started working on the animation. I worked with a animator, Harmeet Rahal, who is based in India. We actually never met in person. It was this entire song was a lockdown project,
That's
like from
awesome.
start to finish.
I didn't know
Amazing.
that you guys never met. Wow.
No, I never met him in person. We've
That's
met on Google
amazing.
Meets at least 100 times, but never in person.
Did this song exist pre-COVID, or we went into lockdown and then you got inspired?
No, I started writing it during lockdown. I was working on
Wow.
the research I was doing for Kohima started like Feb 2020. So I didn't actually start writing it until I'm based here in LA. I think it was March 15th or 22nd was when the lockdown started.
Yeah.
I think I wrote the song in April 2020. So that was when I wrote the lyrics, and then the music came after that. So yeah, the entire project was fully locked down,
Yeah. And thematically, because you spoke about themes, do you have a theme that you like to explore, or you find you explore a lot within your work?
Well, I think, yeah, but I think it varies based on the specific collection of songs. Like I said, all of them are short stories, and the EP that I'm releasing it's the 21st. I think it'll be in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The connecting theme with all of those songs is the idea of losing an important part of yourself. It's a very introspective kind of theme, and it's all about whether it's losing something that's physical or losing something that's like your identity or something that's important to you, and how you respond to that in that moment. That's really what all of the songs are taking a look at. Whereas my next EP, which won't be coming out for a while because I'm working on it right now, would be a very different theme.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously we survived a pandemic, right? So I could see wanting to survive and wanting to be safe can be inspired by such a lockdown. I've seen a lot of other great works coming out of lockdown. And then, you've got me who put 10 pounds on. So, that's.
Don't be silly. You cranked out 75 podcast episodes.
That's amazing.
Well,
that's something.
When you're over 40, they automatically assign you a podcast, and then it's just up to you. So, all right.
Is that what happens on the birthday? Like, it's like, happy birthday. Here's your podcast.
Here's your podcast. Yep. Here's your equipment. You walk in, you've got it set up. It's amazing. No, I mean, I think, definitely staying productive was key. And I'm so happy to see that you've got something beautiful coming out there. Now, art style wise, since this is such a striking music video, I mean, did you have an idea of where you wanted to go with it? Did Marlene kind of come in? Did you guys discuss what you wanted to see?
Marlene and I definitely spoke about it, but like because of the craziness of the lockdown and stuff, what ended up happening was I was kind of the hub for a lot of people, like in terms of having the discussions. And then I would communicate that directly with Harmeet just so that he wouldn't get overwhelmed by like 4 people at once giving him instructions. And like the key thing that certainly for me that I wanted to focus on with this was the guy's face. Because like if you watch the video of Kohima, it takes a lot of seconds and like stalls, especially on his face, because I wanted to feel like you're flipping through a comic book. And that's something that Marlene and I talked about a lot because she's really into comics as well. It's like you're flipping through a comic book and like seeing this guy react to like his friends dying over there, shells going off over there, and everything just going nuts. And he's just like, I just want to go home. And so that was one of the key things that, certainly Marlene and I were nerding out about, how we can kind of make this feel like it's like a comic book with the music set to it.
That's
but
amazing.
Really, this is almost 100%. Well, I don't know the collaboration. I don't know the details of the collaboration between Saahil and Harmeet, but this is Saahil's vision. I'm more of a behind the scenes marketing person.
Of course.
We have something to brag about. So on other projects, I serve in different functions.
You're getting the word out, which is fine. I mean, you worked on Sonic the Hedgehog. So for you, how different of a project is this from where you're coming from?
Funny enough, there are a lot of similarities because when I was working at Sega, it was circa 2015 to 2017, and Sega wanted to relaunch the brand. The brand had dipped in popularity, and they wanted to refresh it. So we were told to think of Sega, the new Burbank office, because it was a new office that had opened up after 30 years being in the Bay Area. They closed all that down, started a new operation in Burbank, and they told us to think of ourselves as a startup.
Right.
And think of Sonic as a new character. So actually I put Sonic in a lot of film festivals and competitions, and we did a whole campaign online to get Sonic inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame at the Strong Museum in Rochester, New York. And so we did a lot of grassroots stuff where people could vote online, or it was engaging the fan base. And so with Saahil's music being indie, qualifying as indie rock, and it's an independent film because not associated with one of the big major studios.
Of course.
There's a similar approach that can be taken with the marketing.
I like that idea of looking at like a music video like this, like Saahil made, and using a startup methodology for marketing it. I think it's brilliant. And then creating that kind of grassroots movement. Did you feel you would get this much attention behind a little music video, Saahil?
I guess no. That's the way to say no. I mean, I guess the best way to put it is that everyone working on it in whatever capacity, was very excited about the video. We all were very, very happy with how it was coming together, and we were excited to take it out there. We didn't expect it to have the level of response that it had, not just with the film festivals, but also the way that a lot of, gaming YouTubers responded to it. When we asked them, hey, do you like this song? Would you be willing to put it in your games? And they were like so excited to put it in their videos. And it led to a lot of different gaming audiences that I thought would really resonate with the song coming through to the video and really having insightful comments on it,
Yeah. I mean, you're touching people through music, and you're, I take it to a level of like, spiritual. Like if you have a good song, it can change your day. It can hit you. It can console you. It could be like a musical hug if you need it. And if you're able to provide that for somebody, it's just like with a great film. Now, if you could take a great film, like a short film, and pair that with music, you're batting 1,000. I actually think it's absolutely amazing that you're able to achieve this, and other people are enjoying it as well. It's obviously, I mean, you're in the news. I'm seeing articles online. You're getting interviews, so I think it's fantastic. Before we go, is there anything that I should have asked you that I haven't asked yet?
Oh man, that's such a tough question.
I know. I love closing with it.
Well, I suppose the only thing I can say is that I'm, in addition to Kohima, I've got a lot of other music out there that's on Spotify. It's on Instagram. Instagram is at Saahil Bhargava. That's SAAHIL BHARGAVA. And Spotify, iTunes, all of that's the same thing. I have an EP that's going to be out in 2 or 3 weeks. I have to check on what exactly the release date is on that because I don't really confirmed it yet. But it should be first or second week of August, and that will be, a brand new song, super different from Kohima, super different from Mama, which was my song that came out in March as well. It's very much both in the song and the execution of the video. It's a very kind of like cinematic kind of vibe to it, as opposed to Kohima, which is a bit more aggressive and hard rock kind of. And so I'm very excited for that one. And beyond that, I mean, I've got more music coming out over the rest of the year and beyond. So stay tuned. I've got more stuff coming.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you're not stuck in one style, that you're branching out, that you build upon your library and really kind of flex those muscles, because I've seen so many, not just writers, but filmmakers and even musicians, they get stuck in a little niche, they get stuck in a little genre. And I think it's so important to build beyond that. And this is obviously something that you do natural.
I'm glad you appreciate that. I'm trying to not limit myself. Like, of course, there's going to be the same singer on every song. Unfortunately, you got to hear this guy. And there's definitely some rock elements that are common, I guess, from the style, but every song for me is its own world. And I'm glad that there are people out there who are just as into that as I am.
Oh yeah, I'm a super dork. I was told the other day that I was a screenwriting nerd. So that's
the best kind of nerd.
I know.
That's a good kind of nerd.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Also,
I laughed so hard.
I've been waiting to say this the entire time. I love your Star Wars decoration on the back. Like, that's just, it's so my jam. I love it.
I totally own it. The C-3PO and the Darth Vader were actually a gift. A gift from my mother when I was little.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they're cookie jars. They're
no
cookie
way.
Yeah,
so you can like open them up and that's so cool.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. So my mom gave me these beautiful pieces, and then she says, "Don't put any cookies in there. They're lead based." What am I gonna? So here
that's why they look so good right now. They're
right. Yeah, they're mint. Yeah. So I had these beautiful cookie jars. I just put in my closet for 20 years, and then one day they ended up behind me. Well, thank you so much for being on this show. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks, Geoffrey.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share in your social media, where you can tag us at The Successful Screenwriter.